Ranell.
Hey, how are you?
Very good. How are you?
Good. Let me just open this up. Oh, that's better. How are things in sunny Queensland?
It's not too sunny today, actually. So, yeah, not too bad, but just chipping away. How are you?
Yeah, really good actually.
That's
I
it.
actually myself just woke up.
Oh, really? Yeah. I actually woke up this morning with a bit of a tickle in my throat, so I don't know. I'm just feeling a bit under the weather today.
Yeah, I think that everyone's getting to that point. I don't know about you, but like we're in full preseason training for all of our team sports.
Yeah.
And so you're just at that point where you've had a whole month of just like
Yeah.
constant, do you know what I mean, like work,
Yeah.
and everyone's starting to feel a little bit run down.
Yeah. No, that's fair enough. I know you've
Yeah,
got a busy schedule, so thanks for jumping on. We
no
won't take
problem.
too much of your time. But obviously, we're just having a few interviews to get some value, just different perspectives on how people can grow as a runner.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, to start things off, do you want to just give a bit of an intro about yourself and just tell the viewers about like who you are and your intro into running?
Sure. I hate talking about myself, to be
That's
honest.
it.
Um, but basically, I'm a strength and conditioning coach that has a specialty in speed. And I went to university back in the 1990s. I have a degree in sports science and coaching. I have my master's degree, and I just really love the fact that I can put all of that as a runner myself, all of that study into a place where I can experiment it with myself as a sprinter before I then transfer that information or that kind of stuff to my athletes. So I basically, even though I ran as a junior athlete, I never really took it too seriously. And so I really found my way into running in my early 30s as a masters athlete. Um, and I ran 15 seasons straight without a break, which I think is a long haul. And I think the reason that I was able to maintain my longevity for that period of time, running season after season, is because of the knowledge that I have from my study and being able to experiment with myself in terms of not only running and training, but also recovery strategies and sleep and nutrition and things like that as well. So for me, the track's always been a place just to shake the day away. Do you know what I mean? And to train really hard with a squad of like-minded people. And as I said, just create that place for experimentation of my study and research before I then pass it on to the athletes that I work with. So that's my pathway into running.
Beautiful. And you said that you started early 30s,
Yes.
and I noticed online that you had a few championship medals. Do you want to touch on that?
As a masters athlete, I went to 5 world championships, and I won 3 individual medals in the 60-meter sprint. I'm a really petite athlete, and so for me, that short swing thigh velocity, getting out of the blocks explosively, is my forte. So I did really, really well in the 60-meter sprint. When I went to World Stadia, I came 4th in the 100 on 2 different occasions. But it's really hard contesting the 100 meters against those big European girls and the American girls who are a foot taller than you. You can get out super fast because you have that short swing thigh velocity, but as soon as you get up out of transition and you're in that middle phase of the race, you're just holding on for dear life, as the bigger runners come down over the top of you. So I always really enjoyed that part of the race. 3 individual medals, 5 relay medals through the 4x100. I was in the team that got the world record for the 4x100 in the women's 35 back in 2008. Seems like a world away now. But for me, in terms of talking about accomplishments, for me, it's always about my athletes and what they do. So getting them to run, season after season PBs and improving and progressing. And all my team-based athletes, because I primarily work in that team-based space, for me, getting them, my private athletes selected into representative squads and moving up and just seeing that the personal growth that comes through that influence that you have over your athletes, and creating in them that athlete mindset. For me, that's the accomplishment, that's the accolades as a coach.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, and with all that exposure to all those athletes, what's and from all your experience and your knowledge as well, what's one of the main things that athletes should focus on in order to grow as a runner?
For me, I think the most important thing is for them to understand that it's not just about running. And if anyone's heard any other podcasts that I've done, that this is really a passionate point for me, is that you have to understand that there's a multitude of athletic competencies that create a really good runner. And so in terms of that, I'm talking about your strength, your joint mobility, your muscle extensibility, your tendon elasticity, especially all those foot tendons and the capacity for those to, propel you like a slingshot off the track or the road. Stiffness, your ability to react against gravity and hold good postural integrity throughout a race. Of course, your mechanics and your technique and all those sorts of things as well. But understanding that it's not just running, that there's a multitude of athletic competencies or physical competencies that you need to address in your training week to really allow you to excel in the sport of running.
Right. So with that, like, how often, like per week, for example, with all those athletic competencies,
Yeah.
how often would you need to focus on each one of them throughout like a normal training week?
So it's a holistic approach. So for example, in terms of your joint mobility and your muscle extensibility, you would address that every day. So we always talk about 15 to 20 minutes of mobilization at the end of the night. And with my athletes, what I try to do is get them to include that as a part of their sleep routine. So it means that you prepare your body to sleep. That might be that you spend 15 to 20 minutes where you stretch, you mobilize, you look after joint mobility, you look after muscle tissue integrity. And then from that, you might go into that specific work, you might go into a little bit of yoga and relaxation. You might do a little bit of meditation and visualization and prepare your body to sleep. Because sleep, as we know, sleep and nutrition, two of the most critical regenerative properties in terms of regeneration and preparing yourself to train again the next day. So having that as a part of a complete sleep routine. And then your strength, you're going to be hitting the gym as a runner. If you're not hitting the gym as a runner, you're really holding yourself back in terms of maximizing your performance. And so depending on whether or not you're an explosive sprinter or you're an ultra marathon runner is going to be dependent on how much time you spend on that and the velocity of movement that you use in the gym under load. And then when I think about your elasticity, your stiffness, your mechanics, that's all in your running session. So that's all embedded into your track sessions.
Yeah, cool. And you mentioned on sleep and nutrition. So like how many hours sleep? Because obviously there's a whole range of opinions out there. And what would you recommend?
Well, I think it depends on, number one, how old you are. I think if you're a youth athlete and you're training very hard, but your body's still trying to find the energy to grow and develop, then you probably need, for me, I like 9 to 10 hours for my youth athletes. When you're biologically mature, you're past the growing stages, then, that 8 to 9 range, I think is really good. You need to allow your body time to have enough regeneration through sleep to be able to maximize training the following day.
Beautiful. Yeah. And you also mentioned nutrition. What are some of the key nutrition points that you have for your athletes?
Key nutrition points for me is eat whole food, eat clean food, things that everyone's heard before, but do they actually put it into practice? Stay away from processed foods that are filled with chemicals. Just try to eat as naturally as possible. And I think with food, listen to your body. Sometimes people will think that they're hungry, but they're just dehydrated and thirsty. So one of my golden rules is that everyone needs to have 35 mils of water per kilogram of body weight per day in terms of maintaining hydration. And then that will change as well with training and sweat loss and things like that as well. Hydration as well, making sure that you weigh yourself before training and after training and matching that with fluid intake directly after training, making sure that you're getting really clean carbohydrate and protein. One of my other rules is making sure that you start with protein base and then you fill the plate with your carbohydrates, good fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, all those sorts of things. So there's a whole lot that goes into nutrition, but I think if you want to just really keep it simple, it's eat clean foods, wholesome foods, and you don't need to eat a lot of it. I think we really overeat as a nation, or even world population. We overeat.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's obviously a wide, extensive range of knowledge that you've accustomed over your lifetime. Do you want to tell the viewers about your involvement in the sport now and how they can find you if they want to reach out for any particular reason?
Yeah, sure. So in terms of, I'm one of those coaches that I work with a multitude of athletes across a lot of different sports. In terms of running, primarily, I work with sprinters that are just looking for really good acceleration. I have coaches that send their athletes to me that need mechanical or technical correction and training, and they don't have that skill set. All the way through to riding programs, riding courses for everyone from the 60-meter sprint all the way through to ultra marathons. Can you hear my dog? I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. Only just.
She's wanting to get outside. So in terms of contacting me, you can just contact me through our website, academyofsportsfeed.com. I think that I'm on Twitter and Facebook as well, but I must be honest with you, in terms of all of that, my husband looks after the social media and the business side of our academy so that I can focus on my athletes, programming, development, and coaching. So if anyone's looking for me, just go to the website and there's a contact page and it will get to me somehow.
Beautiful. Yeah. Awesome. I'll make sure I put those links in as well on the interview page. So thank you so much for your time and the value that you've given today. I'm sure everyone will appreciate it. And yeah, thanks once again, and talk to you soon.
No problem. Thanks so much. See you.
Thanks, Ranell. Take care.
Bye.
See ya.